They are spiritually killing the chosen ones, and no one is talking about it. Have you ever felt like something inside you is being drained, as if your spiritual strength is slowly ebbing away? Maybe it's that feeling of inexplicable fatigue, a silent anguish that seems to have no origin. Waking up every day with the weight of something invisible pressing on your soul, making you question your purpose, your own existence. This is no coincidence. There is a system operating behind the scenes, a meticulous plan to stifle those who possess a different light, a divine calling, a greater mission. The chosen ones are those who carry a strong spirit, but this strength makes them targets. They try to silence you in every possible way, through distractions, emotional pains, doubts, and isolation. If you feel that your faith has been tested to its limits, if your energy is no longer the same, if you realize you are fighting against a void that seems never-ending, maybe you are already being hit by this invisible war. But you are not alone. There is a reason for all of this happening, and the revelation I'm going to share might be what you need to understand and win this battle. So stay with me until the end of this video, because this truth might change everything. Maybe lately you have felt a strange weight on your shoulders, an exhaustion that has no logical explanation, a constant restlessness within your soul, as if something is being taken from you little by little. It's that feeling of being present, but at the same time distant, as if your connection with your essence is fading. You may have noticed that, no matter how hard you try to keep your faith, something seems to be pushing you away from it. Moments of confusion arise out of nowhere, lack of clarity settles in, and even the joy that once filled you seems increasingly rare. But know this, it is not random. It is not just in your head. There is an orchestrated plan to weaken the chosen ones, a silent war that happens in the invisible field, and that few can perceive. You feel this battle because you are part of it, because those who carry a greater mission always face the forces that want to prevent their ascension. And if you have come this far, maybe it's because on some level you already know this. Maybe you have already felt that something is pulling you down, trying to silence your voice, extinguish your light. But the truth is that the world needs this light. And that's why you need to understand what is happening, because the more awake you are, the harder it will be for them to bring you down. Have you ever wondered why so many people who awaken spiritually feel like they are being suffocated? Why instead of finding peace, they often face attacks, intense challenges, and a sense that something or someone is trying to silence them? What is happening behind the scenes that no one talks about openly? The truth is that there is an invisible war going on, and the chosen ones are the main targets. You are not imagining things when you feel that the world seems to conspire against your spiritual evolution. There are forces that operate in silence, manipulating energies, distracting, weakening, and trying to obscure your light. If you notice that, whenever you try to advance spiritually, unexpected obstacles arise to destabilize you, know that this is no coincidence. You are being watched, tested, and often attacked without even realizing it. But why? What is the true reason behind this relentless attempt to spiritually kill the chosen ones? What is inside you that represents such a great threat? These are the answers that few dare to reveal. But today, here, you will have access to a truth that can change your journey forever. If you feel that something is happening and seek clarity to understand this process, then this video might be the missing piece for you to see everything with different eyes. Have you ever felt a fatigue that seems to come from a place beyond the physical? An exhaustion that is not relieved by rest, sleep, or even leisure moments? This can be one of the most evident signs that you are under a spiritual attack. When external forces drain your energy, they not only weaken your vitality, but also make everything around you heavier and more difficult. Suddenly, activities that used to bring you pleasure become uninteresting, and the feeling of being overwhelmed sets in without any apparent reason. The purpose of this? To weaken your will, destabilize your frequency, and prevent you from advancing on your spiritual journey. The first step to combat this attack is to recognize it and understand that not all exhaustion comes from natural causes. Some come from forces that wish to keep you in a state of vulnerability. One of the most subtle attacks the chosen ones face is the incessant bombardment of doubts. Suddenly, you start questioning everything that once seemed certain. Am I on the right path? Was everything I lived and learned a mistake? These doubts are not just random thoughts. They are inserted into your mind by external influences that wish to destabilize your purpose. Fear and confusion are powerful weapons to drive the chosen ones away from their mission. When you start doubting your own intuition and feel that you have lost clarity about your destiny, know that this is a clear sign that invisible forces are trying to divert you from the truth. And remember, The closer you are to a great awakening, the more intense these attacks will be. Another sign of spiritual attack is the gradual distancing from what strengthens your soul. You realize that, without apparent explanation, you begin to lose interest in spiritual practices that used to bring you peace. Meditation no longer has the same effect, prayer seems empty, and you feel as if you are disconnected from something greater. This distancing is one of the greatest dangers, because the further you feel from your faith, the more vulnerable you become. This is how many chosen ones end up getting lost on the path, not because they failed, but because they were manipulated to feel isolated and directionless. And the truth is that this feeling of distancing does not come from you, but from forces that work to create a block between you and your spiritual essence. Many times, you may be energetically drained without realizing it. This happens in various ways, but the most common is through interaction with certain people and environments loaded with dense energy. There are individuals who, intentionally or not, function as energy vampires, sucking your life force through conversations, conflicts, and even simple interactions. The exhaustion you feel after being around certain people is no coincidence. It is a symptom that your energy is being extracted. Additionally, there are places where the energy is so low that just entering there makes you feel a weight on your chest, sudden drowsiness, or inexplicable irritation. The spiritual world is real and invisible, and those who do not protect their energy end up being drained without realizing it. If you feel that your faith is being tested in an extreme way, know that this may not be just a phase, but a deliberate attack to cut your connection with the divine. These influences can manifest through intrusive thoughts, limiting beliefs, and even external circumstances that undermine your confidence in yourself and the universe. Often, these forces disguise themselves as negative events in your life, making it seem like you are being punished or abandoned. But this is one of the oldest tricks, to weaken your confidence so that you yourself move away from the light. When you feel disconnected from your spirituality, questioning your faith, and feeling increasingly lost, it is a clear sign that external forces are trying to push you away from the truth. Many chosen ones go through periods of deep anguish without understanding the true origin of what they are feeling. Suddenly, a wave of sadness, anxiety, or despair takes over the mind and heart. Everything seems meaningless, and life loses its shine. But what few realize is that these crises are often not just emotional or psychological, they are disguised spiritual attacks. When someone is about to discover something important about their mission, when they are about to take a spiritual leap, these dark forces try to stifle that growth. They manifest as crises to divert focus and keep the person trapped in pain, suffering, and doubt. If you feel that your soul is being pulled into an abyss of inexplicable sadness, understand that this may be one of the clearest signs that your light is bothering the darkness. The first step to protect yourself from these attacks is to recognize the signs. Often, the chosen ones ignore these manifestations, thinking they are just bad phases or consequences of everyday fatigue. But the truth is that most of these symptoms are strategies to prevent your spiritual evolution. Therefore, it is essential to strengthen your vibration, whether through prayer, meditation, connection with nature, or any other practice that raises your frequency. The higher your vibration, the harder it will be for these forces to find an entry point into your energy. Keeping your energy protected is essential to survive these attacks. Besides strengthening your vibration, it is important to create daily protection habits, such as energetic visualizations, spiritual baths, use of crystals, and spiritual cleansing practices. Do not underestimate the importance of protecting your energy, as attacks happen subtly and constantly. Just as we protect our physical body from diseases, we must protect our soul from influences that want to weaken us. Another common mistake of the chosen ones is trying to face everything alone. Isolation is one of the most effective weapons against those who carry a spiritual mission. When you feel alone, without support, and without direction, your energy becomes more vulnerable. Therefore, connecting to a spiritual community that resonates with your journey can be one of the most powerful ways to resist attacks. Sharing experiences, learning from others, and strengthening yourself through the exchange of knowledge are ways to keep your energy protected and your faith unshakable. No matter how much dark forces try to destroy the chosen ones spiritually, the truth is that those who awaken to their mission become unshakable. The more you understand the attacks, the stronger you become. They cannot defeat those who are aware of their own light. Therefore, never give up. Every spiritual battle you face is proof of your power and a step towards an even greater awakening. They try to spiritually kill the chosen ones, but the truth is that nothing can extinguish the light of those who have been called for a divine purpose. The excess of information bombards the minds of the chosen ones daily, creating a whirlwind of stimuli that obscures their true connection with the divine. Sensationalist news, social media filled with superficiality, and the culture of uninterrupted entertainment are part of a subtle, yet extremely effective strategy to distance them from spiritual awakening. The human mind has a limit to process information, and when overloaded, it loses the ability to discern what really matters. Thus, many end up consuming empty and disposable content that only serves to keep them occupied, but never awakened. The time that should be dedicated to introspection, silence, and connection with the higher self is constantly stolen by the rampant consumption of social media. The design of these platforms is not accidental. They are created to generate dependency, to capture the individual's attention, and to distance them from their true essence. With each notification, each new recommended video, the mind disperses even more, and when silence arrives, it becomes uncomfortable because the individual no longer knows how to be with themselves. This is one of the greatest dangers for the chosen ones, the inability to remain in a state of contemplation, because it is in this state that the truth reveals itself. The chosen one, who should be attentive to the signs, the calls of the spirit, and intuition, finds themselves lost in a sea of external stimuli. The fragmented mind prevents inner clarity and blocks the understanding of higher purposes. Gradually, they become just another in the crowd, chasing the same empty promises of status, social validation, and acceptance. The inner light that once illuminated their path begins to fade, not because it has ceased to exist, but because their vision is blurred. This is done intentionally, for a chosen one with a clear mind and purpose is an uncontrollable being, and those who want to govern the spiritual world do not wish for them to awaken. Modern society encourages rampant consumption, not only of material goods, but also of mental and emotional stimuli. The incessant search for new experiences, disposable relationships, fads, and immediate pleasures makes the chosen ones forget the importance of spiritual discipline. Inner growth requires consistency, time, and effort, but distraction leads them to a state of permanent restlessness, where the patience to develop the spiritual connection becomes non-existent. The result? Faith becomes unstable, spirituality transforms into something shallow and without depth, and the true strength of the spirit is lost in the confusion of the outer world. We believe we have full autonomy over what we consume, over the information we receive, but the truth is that most of the chosen ones are being manipulated without realizing it. The algorithms of social media, subliminal media programming, and constant exposure to controlled narratives make the chosen ones think they are awakened when in reality, they are just trapped in a new kind of prison, the prison of false enlightenment. Many believe they are following a spiritual path, but in reality, they are only repeating empty concepts without real experience. The connection with the divine cannot be mediated by trends and fads, and those who get carried away by these distractions end up spiritually dead before they even realize it. However, since time immemorial, religious systems have been built not to strengthen this connection but to mediate it, to control it, to transform the search for the divine into something bureaucratic and restrictive. The chosen ones, by their nature, feel this limitation, for they know that the essence of the sacred is beyond human constructs. Yet, many are led to believe that they can only access God through a set of rituals, intermediaries, and imposed rules. This weakens true faith and generates a spiritual dependency that can be exploited for control and submission. From an early age, many are taught to fear God instead of loving Him, to see the divine as a severe judge instead of a loving Father. This mentality destroys confidence in one's own spiritual connection, for fear paralyzes, creates guilt, and makes the individual feel unworthy of accessing the sacred. A chosen one who lives in fear of making mistakes, being punished, or displeasing invisible forces becomes spiritually weak, for they do not understand that true awakening comes from direct experience, from sincere seeking, and not from blind adherence to rules created by men. The chosen ones have always been persecuted within organized structures, because their connection cannot be limited by fixed doctrines. Throughout history, those who dared to question were silenced, labeled heretics, sorcerers, apostates. This happens because an awakened chosen one does not need intermediaries, and this threatens those who profit from the faith of others. Thus, many are led to believe that their spiritual sensitivity is a mistake, that their visions are illusions, that their gifts must be repressed. And by repressing who they they begin to spiritually wither, becoming shadows of what they could be. Many religious systems offer ready-made answers for everything, preventing the chosen ones from developing their own understanding. The true spiritual path requires questioning, courage to face doubts, willingness to seek the truth beyond what has been taught. However, the fear of the unknown makes many cling to beliefs that, instead of freeing them, imprison them. Faith becomes mechanical, based on empty rituals and external obligations, and not on a real experience of connection. This kills spirituality from within, for a chosen one who does not question their own journey is merely following the path of others and not their own. The true power of the chosen one lies in their individuality, in their unique connection with the divine, but the systems created to control them try to mold them to fit. When a chosen one loses their authenticity, they also lose their spiritual strength. They stop listening to their intuition, begin to depend on external validation, and gradually, their inner flame extinguishes. And this is exactly what those who control this world desire. Chosen ones without shine, without voice, without their own identity. But those who awaken to this reality begin to see beyond the veil, begin to regain their true power, and that is when everything changes. From childhood, we are bombarded with messages trying to convince us that everything that cannot be explained by traditional science or established social rules is just imagination or superstition. Naturally sensitive children, who see beyond the obvious, who feel the energies around them, and who perceive spiritual signs are often silenced by adults who say, "That's just in your head." Over time, these natural gifts are repressed, as the fear of judgment becomes greater than the trust in their own intuition. This mental programming is intentional, as a chosen one who recognizes and develops their spiritual gifts becomes an autonomous being, difficult to control. They do not need others to interpret the truth for them, they feel it. That is why those who govern this world do not want the chosen ones to remember who they truly are. If something cannot be proven with numbers, if it cannot be touched or measured, then it does not exist. This reductionist thinking is one of the greatest mental prisons ever created, as it forces the chosen ones to doubt their own experiences. When someone feels a strong intuition, sees signs, or has spiritual perceptions, the first reaction that this mental programming generates is doubt. Am I going crazy? This is one of the cruelest mechanisms to spiritually kill the chosen ones, as doubt corrodes faith. If the individual does not trust what they feel and perceive, they end up surrendering to the dominant narrative and disconnecting from their essence. This is the main goal, to make the chosen ones become blind to the spiritual and dependent on the answers imposed by the external world. Every intense pain leaves deep marks on the soul, and many of these marks end up becoming walls that impede the flow of spiritual energy. When a chosen one goes through abandonment, betrayal, abuse, or any experience that causes an emotional shock, their energetic system suffers an impact. If these traumas are not healed, they transform into barriers that limit their connection with the divine. The fear of suffering again causes many to close themselves off, ceasing to trust their own sensitivity. This is even more dangerous when the trauma involves the rejection of their own spirituality. Many chosen ones were ridiculed, isolated, or even persecuted for manifesting their gifts, and this pain causes them to disconnect from their own light, believing that the safest path is to hide who they truly are. Many chosen ones carry such deep traumas that they do not even realize how it affects their spiritual journey. They may feel an inner calling, a desire to seek the truth, but something prevents them from taking the next step. This something is often the invisible scars they carry. The fear of judgment, the fear of rejection, the fear of suffering again creates an energetic barrier that keeps them trapped in a state of stagnation. Additionally, hidden forces take advantage of these emotional wounds to implant even more doubts, discouragement, and a sense of incapacity. This makes many chosen ones feel small, without the strength to fully awaken to their mission. This is one of the cruelest attacks, as it uses the chosen one's own pain against them. The traumas that were used to block you can become the foundation of your strength. Suffering can be transmuted into wisdom, and what once seemed like a curse can become a powerful gift. Mental programming can be undone, spiritual connection can be restored, and spiritual identity can be reclaimed. The key to this liberation lies in consciousness. The first step is to perceive the manipulation mechanisms and understand that everything was done to weaken the chosen ones. The second step is to break free from this programming, refusing to believe the lies that have been implanted throughout life. When a chosen one awakens to their true nature, no external force can stop them. And that is exactly what they fear. The feeling of being lost and directionless is not just a passing thought, but a state of being that consumes the souls of the chosen ones who fall into this spiritual trap. It is as if a dense fog covers their inner eyes, preventing them from seeing their own journey. The call that once resonated in their spirit now seems like a distant echo, almost inaudible. Dreams, aspirations, and even faith begin to dissipate, and in place of clarity and spiritual connection, an anguishing confusion sets in. The chosen one feels as if they have been ripped from their divine mission and thrown into a labyrinth with no exit, where every decision seems wrong and every path leads to a dead end. This state of imprisonment is reflected in a life where everything seems to go wrong, as if an invisible force is blocking any possibility of growth and achievement. Nothing flows. Relationships become fragile or toxic, opportunities disappear like sand slipping through fingers, and the motivation to fight dwindles day by day. Many start to question whether they are being punished or if they have been forgotten by the divine. However, this feeling of failure is not a coincidence but a direct symptom of the weakening of spiritual connection. An imprisoned soul vibrates at a low frequency, and in this vibration, it attracts chaos, stagnation, and repetitive cycles of pain and suffering. The weight of spiritual imprisonment also manifests in the disconnection with oneself. The chosen ones, who once carried a sparkle in their eyes and an intense energy of purpose, start to feel like mere spectators of their own existence. Intuition, which was always a reliable compass, becomes a distant and confusing murmur. The answers that once came in the form of signs and synchronicities now seem non-existent. Life becomes a heavy burden, where emotions oscillate between deep sadness and apathy that prevents them from reacting. The silence of the imprisoned soul is deafening, as it screams an invisible pain that few can understand. Another devastating symptom of an imprisoned soul is the loss of the sense of belonging. The chosen one starts to feel like a stranger everywhere, even among those they once considered family or friends. They do not fit in, can no longer genuinely connect with people around them, and begin to isolate themselves, as if they were emotionally and spiritually exiled. However, this isolation is not a necessary retreat for introspection and growth, but rather an enclosure imposed by the energies that keep them imprisoned. This forced detachment from the world makes them feel even more lost, feeding the sensation of being displaced and purposeless. The absence of purpose leads to the illness of the soul and body. The chosen one begins to carry an inexplicable fatigue, as if their very essence is being drained. Nights become insomnia or, on the contrary, excessive and unrestful sleep. The body reflects what happens in the spirit: inexplicable pains, constant discouragement, and a sense of exhaustion that never goes away. Nothing seems to have color anymore, and even the small joys of life lose their shine. It is as if they are living on autopilot, dragging themselves day after day, without energy to fight and without strength to seek their own liberation. The soul that was once free and full of light is now trapped in a dense shadow, waiting to be rescued. The conditioning that leads to spiritual distancing is one of the most subtle and dangerous mechanisms that imprison the chosen ones. From an early age, we are exposed to a reality that devalues the spiritual world, ridicules intuition, and places materialism as the only legitimate path to happiness. This conditioning happens slowly and continuously through education, media, family beliefs, and social expectations. It makes the chosen one doubt their own essence, disbelieve the signs of the universe, and gradually distance themselves from their connection with the divine. The system we are part of is designed to keep us distracted, exhausted, and overwhelmed, without time or energy to question our existence and seek the truth that liberates. This spiritual distancing does not happen abruptly, but as a progressive a silent disconnection that takes over the mind and soul. The chosen one, who once felt an intense call to their mission, begins to rationalize their spiritual experiences and question whether everything they lived was real or just a product of their imagination. They distance themselves from meditation, spiritual practices, and the people who could strengthen them on this journey. Life becomes mechanical, based only on immediate needs and everyday challenges. Without realizing it, they begin to feel increasingly lost, trapped in a void and purposeless existence. How are destructive patterns maintained to prevent the evolution of the chosen ones? The answer lies in the mental and emotional programming imposed on us since childhood. Limiting beliefs, unconscious fears, and negative influences around us create cycles of self-sabotage that keep the chosen ones stuck in a stagnant reality. They start to doubt themselves, fear change, and procrastinate on actions that could lead to greater awakening. When they try to evolve, invisible forces seem to pull them back, creating obstacles and difficulties that undermine their determination. The cycle of self-sabotage also manifests as destructive emotional patterns. Many chosen ones carry deep wounds, past traumas, and insecurities that make them believe they are not worthy of fulfilling their mission. This internal pain transforms into self-destructive behaviors, such as toxic relationships, addictions, extreme isolation, or even fleeing to empty distractions. All of this serves to keep them away from their true essence, trapped in a labyrinth of suffering that prevents their spiritual growth. The distancing from the mission is one of the greatest tragedies that can happen to a chosen one. Every being born with a higher purpose has within them a divine flame, a light that needs to be shared with the world. However, when this flame is extinguished by conditioning, pain, and the distractions of mundane life, the chosen one loses their inner compass. They may even try to fit into a conventional lifestyle, seeking material success or social acceptance, but none of this will be enough to fill the void that forms within them. But why do many people abandon their spiritual journey before reaching their true purpose? Because the path of the chosen ones is full of trials, and not everyone can withstand the adversities. The spiritual journey requires courage, resilience, and unwavering faith. However, the world is full of traps designed to divert those with a grand destiny. Pain, loneliness, doubts, and spiritual attacks make many give up before even understanding the true power they possess. When a chosen one deviates from their divine path, they lose the protection and spiritual guidance that once led them. Life begins to become increasingly difficult because they are going against the current of their own essence. The universe tries to send signals, create situations to awaken them again, but if they remain deaf to these calls, the feeling of emptiness and frustration intensifies. They may even try to seek answers in the material world, but will never find genuine satisfaction while disconnected from their mission. The deviation from the divine path also opens space for negative influences and spiritual attacks. When a chosen one abandons their mission, they become vulnerable to dense energies and entities that feed on their spiritual weakness. It is common for them to develop inexplicable illnesses, enter depressive states, or get involved in destructive situations that seem out of their control. This happens because their light, once protected by divine connection, has now become an easy target for forces that wish to keep them in darkness. Even when a chosen one deviates, their soul never forgets who they truly are. At some point, the pain of disconnection will become unbearable, and they will feel the need to seek the way back. This return can be difficult, as it requires them to confront their fears, free themselves from the shackles of the past, and rebuild their connection with the divine. However, those who have the courage to rise again will find a strength even greater than before. Because every fall, every mistake, and every deviation are lessons that strengthen the souls of those destined for spiritual greatness. The hidden truth that no one tells you is that the world fears awakened chosen ones because a chosen one aware of their power is uncontrollable. That is why so many forces work to keep them imprisoned, distracted, and disconnected. But if you have come this far, it means that your soul still seeks the truth, that your essence still yearns for awakening. And that is a sign that your journey is not yet over. The question is, are you ready to free yourself from this invisible prison and resume the path you were destined for? Spiritual attacks against the chosen ones are never obvious. They come subtly, infiltrating the mind, emotions, and surrounding environment. Often, they start with an inexplicable feeling of fatigue, an unjustified discouragement, or even a series of events that seem to drain your vital energy. If you have noticed that whenever you try to grow spiritually or seek the truth, something begins to go wrong, be it in your health, relationships, or even your connection with the divine, you may be the target of spiritual sabotage. These attacks are designed to divert the chosen ones from their mission, weakening their faith and obscuring their perception of reality. One of the most common signs of spiritual sabotage is mental and emotional confusion. Intense thoughts of doubt, fear, and insufficiency begin to arise, leading you to question your own journey. You start to feel lost, purposeless, as if you are disconnected from your essence. This type of energetic manipulation often happens through external influences, such as people around you who undermine your faith, environments loaded with negative energy, or even subliminal messages that feed insecurity and disbelief. Doubt is a powerful weapon used against the chosen ones, because when you question who you really are, you begin to lose power over your own energy. Another indication of spiritual attack is the increase of inexplicable exhaustion. Your body and mind always seem to be overwhelmed, even when you sleep well or try to rest. This weariness can be a sign that your energy is being drained. Often, spiritual entities or even people around you act as energy vampires, stealing your vitality. If you feel that, when you are in certain environments or near certain people, your energy is quickly drained, be aware. This may be a tactic to weaken your vibrational frequency and prevent you from accessing your inner strength. Another method of sabotage is forced isolation. When you are spiritually attacked, you may notice that important relationships start to crumble, that loved ones distance themselves without apparent reason, or that you feel a deep need to hide from the world. This isolation is often not natural, but induced by forces that do not want you to find support and strength in your spiritual community. The chosen ones are stronger when united because when they connect, they elevate each other's energy. Therefore, one of the goals of these attacks is to make you feel alone, weakened, and directionless. Additionally, frequent nightmares and sleep disturbances are indicators of spiritual attacks. When we sleep, our spirit expands to other dimensions and receives messages and guidance from the divine. However, if your mind is bombarded with negative images, persecutions in dreams, or sensations of sleep paralysis, it may be a sign that something is trying to block your revelations. Negative entities often try to interrupt the chosen one's rest, preventing them from recovering their energy and making it difficult to connect with spirituality. If this is happening to you, know that it is a warning to strengthen your spiritual protection before sleeping. To protect yourself from these influences and regain your spiritual energy, the first step is to strengthen your perception. Self-knowledge and mindfulness are essential to identify when something is out of balance. Reserve moments of your day to ask yourself, is this emotion really mine, or is something external trying to influence me? The practice of inner silence, through meditation, helps to differentiate your own feelings from those being induced. The more you know yourself, the harder it will be for any external force to manipulate your mind and heart. Elevating your spiritual vibration is one of the most powerful methods to shield yourself from attacks. When you are vibrating at a high frequency, negative energies cannot connect with you. To do this, practice gratitude daily. Be thankful not only for the good things but also for the challenges, as they strengthen your journey. Avoid consuming content that lowers your vibration, such as negative news, music, or movies filled with violence and pessimism. Feed your soul with uplifting words, seek spiritual knowledge, and surround yourself with people who inspire you to grow. Prayer is one of the most powerful tools to reconnect with the divine and create a protective barrier around you. But it is not enough just to repeat empty words. True prayer comes from the heart and carries a pure and deep intention. When praying, visualize a golden light around you, a divine protection that no evil can penetrate. Talk to God, your spiritual guides, your ancestors. Ask for discernment to see the truth and strength to resist attacks. Daily prayer strengthens your energy and prevents external forces from taking control of your mind and spirit. Meditation is another essential path to spiritual liberation. When you meditate, your mind calms down and you can access higher states of consciousness. This allows you to receive divine messages, better understand your mission, and tune into higher frequencies. Practice guided meditations for protection. Visualize your body enveloped in white light, and ask that only beneficial energies approach you. In addition, sacred mantras can be used to ward off negative influences. The simple act of repeating words of power, such as I am light, I am protected, I am guided, can transform your energy and create a field of spiritual protection. One of the most important steps to strengthen your connection with the divine is to return to your essence. Amidst the distractions of the world, many chosen ones get lost and forget who they truly are. Returning to the essence means remembering your mission, your purpose, and your unbreakable connection with the Creator. Spend more time in nature, as it carries a pure and elevated vibration. Connect with your inner child, reclaim the joy and simplicity of living. The light of the chosen ones is inextinguishable, but it needs to be constantly nurtured. By doing this, you not only protect yourself but become a source of light so intense that no darkness can reach. But why, after all, are the chosen ones constantly targets of such intense attacks? Why do so many obstacles arise just when they start to awaken to their true essence? The answer lies in a truth that very few dare to reveal, something that has been hidden for centuries and involves a silent war against those who carry the light within them. a battle that did not start now, but has roots much deeper than you imagine. The impact that an awakened chosen one has on the world is something that certain hidden powers cannot allow, and there is a specific reason for this. What really happens to those who resist? What is behind this covert persecution? And more importantly, what is the divine promise reserved for those who persevere? This revelation will be made soon, but before that, there is a crucial step that needs to be understood: breaking negative cycles. Protecting yourself spiritually is not enough if you are still trapped in destructive patterns that distance you from your true identity. Now, let's discover how to eliminate these patterns and rebuild your connection with your spiritual mission. The first step to freeing yourself from spiritual attacks and regaining your strength is to break the negative cycles that trap your soul in destructive patterns. Many chosen ones keep repeating painful experiences, attracting toxic relationships, facing the same difficulties, and feeling a weight that never seems to disappear. This doesn't happen by chance. Often, these cycles are implanted to keep you trapped in a low frequency, preventing your spiritual ascension. And the worst part, many of these traps are invisible, as they are within your own mind. If you feel like you're living a repetition of challenges and pains, it's because there is a hidden pattern that needs to be broken. But how do these negative cycles form? It all starts with the mental programming imposed from an early age. Since childhood, you were conditioned to believe in limitations, to fear expanding your consciousness, and to accept a life of suffering as something normal. Moreover, traumas and painful experiences create emotional wounds that become unconscious triggers. Thus, whenever you try to change your reality, something pulls you back to the same place. These patterns can come from past lives, unconscious spiritual contracts, or even external influences that try to keep you asleep. The truth is, these cycles are like invisible chains that bind your soul. But the key to freeing yourself has always been within you. The great secret to eliminating destructive patterns is to identify them consciously. Everything you don't see controls you, but when you bring to light the repetitive behaviors that sabotage your evolution, they lose their power. Start observing your life carefully. What painful situations keep repeating? What negative thoughts arise frequently? What heavy emotions insist on returning? Make this analysis without fear. Often, these patterns are fed by beliefs that do not belong to you but were imposed by society, family, or past experiences. Recognition is the first step to breaking the cycle. After identifying the patterns, the next step is to deprogram the mind and rewrite your spiritual story. This can only be done through the power of intention. Thought is the most powerful energy that exists because it creates reality. Everything you believe, feel, and emotionally nurture manifests in the physical world. If you see yourself as a victim, you will attract experiences that confirm this belief. But if you decide to assume the role of an awakened and sovereign being, your reality will begin to transform. The chosen ones are not victims, they are spiritual warriors who need to reclaim their inner strength. One of the most effective ways to break negative cycles is to use powerful affirmations and decrees. Words have power because they carry vibrational frequency. If you want to free yourself from destructive patterns, start reprogramming your mind with powerful phrases. Every day, when you wake up and before you go to sleep, say to yourself, "I am free. I am guided by the divine. I now break all negative cycles that try to imprison me. My life is aligned with my purpose." Repeating these affirmations creates a new vibrational field around you, dissolving the chains of the past. But remember, the word must be spoken with feeling and conviction. The more you feel this truth, the faster you will see results. Many chosen ones feel that there is something greater they need to do in this world, but cannot clearly see what their mission is. This happens because disconnection from life's purpose is one of the main weapons used to prevent spiritual awakening. When a chosen one doesn't know who they are or what they came to do, they become vulnerable to external influences. That's why so many people live in a state of apathy, feeling a constant void as if they are lost. But here is the truth. If you feel you have a mission, it is because you truly do. And this mission has always been within you, waiting to be remembered. To reconnect with your true purpose, you must first free yourself from the distractions of the world. Modern society was created to keep people busy, exhausted, and disconnected from their essence. The excessive stimuli, external demands, and daily worries make the soul's voice almost imperceptible. That is why silence and introspection are fundamental. Set aside moments of your day to distance yourself from the external noise and listen to what your intuition has to say. Ask yourself, what makes me feel alive? What gives me a sense of fulfillment? What kind of knowledge have I always sought, even without realizing it? The answers to your mission lie in the passions and interests that have always been within you. Besides listening to your intuition, you can ask the universe for signs. Chosen ones are never alone. Their spiritual guides are always trying to communicate, but often the signs go unnoticed. Pay attention to synchronicities, repeated numbers, revealing dreams, and messages that come unexpectedly. Often what you dismiss as a coincidence is, in fact, a call to follow a specific path. Trust in your spiritual connection and be open to receiving guidance. Aligning your life with your spiritual essence means making decisions that are in harmony with your soul. Many people know what their calling is, but are afraid to follow it because of others' opinions or apparent difficulties. However, the path of the chosen ones has never been about following what is easy, but about following what is true. Are you willing to pay the price to live your truth? Are you willing to leave behind what no longer resonates with your soul? Choosing to live your mission may require sacrifices, but the reward is priceless. A life with purpose, meaning, and connection with the divine. And now that you understand what you need to do to break negative patterns and reconnect with your mission, there is something even deeper that needs to be revealed. There is a reason why the chosen ones are attacked, a secret that has been hidden for centuries, and that explains this entire spiritual battle. You are about to discover the truth that no one ever told you, and that can completely change your perception of what is happening in the world. We have reached the crucial moment of this revelation. Now, you will understand why the chosen ones are constant targets of attacks and manipulations. The truth that has always been hidden will be exposed. There is an invisible war happening, and those who awaken to their true essence become fundamental pieces in this spiritual conflict. But why so much persecution? What is the real impact of an awakened chosen one in the world? And what is behind this silent battle that spans through time? Prepare yourself, for we are about to reveal the hidden reason why dark forces attempt to extinguish the light of the chosen ones. The mission is grand, the challenge is intense, but the divine promise for those who resist and persevere remains alive. It is time to see beyond the veil and understand the essential role you, as a chosen one, play in this great spiritual plot. Since ancient times, the chosen ones have always been persecuted, marginalized, and silenced. But why? What is it about them that so disturbs the hidden system that governs this world? The answer is simple and at the same time profound. The chosen ones carry within themselves a light that is impossible to manipulate. They have a direct connection to the truth, a spiritual sensitivity that allows them to see beyond the veil of illusion. In a world where lies are the foundation of power structures, the presence of someone who sees the truth is a real threat. The chosen ones do not bow, do not accept imposed mental programming, do not follow the herd. They challenge the established order simply by existing, by questioning, by awakening others around them. And this makes them constant targets of spiritual, energetic, and even physical attacks. The impact of an awakened chosen one is immense. Wherever they go, their presence transforms everything around them. They carry a high vibration that interferes with the energy patterns of the environment, exposing falsehoods, revealing hypocrisy, and making those who live in darkness feel uncomfortable. The awakening of a chosen one is a domino effect. They not only free themselves, but also influence others to free themselves. And this is the greatest fear of the forces that govern this world, the spread of consciousness. An awakened one can be a catalyst for the liberation of thousands, perhaps millions of people. Therefore, they try to silence them in every possible way. But what is the true reason behind this war against the chosen ones? The answer goes far beyond envy or hatred. What is at stake here is control over human souls. The hidden forces operating behind the scenes of this world do not just want material power or political domination. They want spiritual control, the enslavement of the human essence. And the chosen ones represent a direct threat to this plan. They are the ones who challenge lies, who break patterns, who bring forgotten knowledge, who rescue true spirituality. They are the only ones who can dissolve the dominion of darkness over humanity. And therefore, they must be eliminated. This spiritual war is not something new. It has been happening since ancient times, since the most remote civilizations. The chosen ones have always existed and have always been persecuted. They were burned as witches, crucified as heretics, hunted as enemies of the system. History is full of accounts of men and women who dared to speak the truth and were brutally silenced. Prophets, sages, mystics, spiritual leaders, All those who carried divine knowledge and dared to share it were targets of relentless persecution. And the same happens today, only in more subtle ways. In ancient times, attacks against the chosen ones were physical: imprisonment, torture, public executions. Today, this battle has become even more perverse and silent. Now, the attack is psychological, energetic, spiritual. They try to destroy the chosen ones from within, without leaving visible marks. They use mental manipulation, constant distractions, isolation, humiliation, invisible spiritual attacks. They destroy their emotional health, exhaust their energy, make them feel alone, lost, directionless. Today's war is a war for the soul, and the weapons are much more subtle and destructive than in the past. What is behind this silent battle against the awakened is a meticulous plan of global control. They know that humanity is asleep and want to keep it that way at all costs. They want everyone to be just cogs in a machine, obedient, manipulable, incapable of seeing the truth. The chosen ones are the ones who can break this illusion, who can open the eyes of the sleepers. And this cannot be allowed. Therefore, the life of a chosen one is full of challenges, obstacles, betrayals, loneliness, and trials. Not because they are unlucky or doomed, but because they are at war, even without realizing it. The world we live in is a great illusion, a matrix designed to imprison souls and prevent their spiritual growth. The chosen one is born with the mission to break this system, to illuminate those in the shadows. But for that, they first need to survive the attacks. Many do not succeed. Many get lost, fall into traps, are swallowed by darkness. But those who resist, those who remain firm, become unbreakable. They discover their true strength and take up their role in the spiritual battle. Those who resist face extreme challenges, but also experience something that few can understand: a direct connection with the divine. They begin to receive signs, intuitions, deep revelations. Their consciousness expands, their strength intensifies. They become beacons of light in a world of darkness. And it is precisely this that makes them even more dangerous to the system. The stronger a chosen one becomes, the more attacks they suffer. But at the same time, the more protected they are by higher forces. The destiny of the chosen ones is not failure, defeat, or submission. Their destiny is spiritual victory, ascension, the full realization of their mission. They are here to change the world, to break the chains, to bring back the forgotten truth. And this mission cannot be interrupted. The hidden forces may try to weaken them, may try to destroy them, but they will never be able to completely extinguish them. Because the light they carry does not come from this world, it comes from the divine source itself. And this is the promise for the chosen ones who persevere: victory over illusion, full awakening of consciousness, liberation from all bonds. The one who resists, the one who does not give up, the one who remains faithful to their purpose will be rewarded in ways that this world cannot comprehend. The chosen ones did not come here to bow down. They came to lead, to transform, to fulfill a calling that echoes from ancient times. And the battle may be arduous, but light always conquers darkness. The journey of the chosen ones has never been easy, and this is no accident. From birth, there is an invisible mark on them, a calling that sets them apart from the crowd. But along with this mark come challenges, trials, and silent battles that few can understand. The mission that needs to be fulfilled is not only personal, it is a collective purpose, directly affecting the destiny of humanity. The chosen ones are here to keep the truth alive, to break the illusions imposed over centuries, to reignite the flame of genuine spirituality that has been distorted and hidden by the forces that dominate this world. Each one of them carries within a fragment of this truth, a piece of the divine light that, when awakened, becomes a threat to the control system. They cannot be tamed, they cannot be bent, they cannot be extinguished, and that is why they suffer so many attacks. The mission is clear: resist, awaken, and guide others out of the darkness. But what happens to those who resist and remain firm? They become unshakable. The more a chosen one faces their challenges without bending, the stronger they become spiritually. What once would deeply hurt them now becomes merely a lesson. What once would shake them now only reinforces their faith. Resistance is forged in the fire of trials, and those who do not give up discover an inner power they never imagined they had. They begin to see the hidden game behind the curtains, to understand how the spiritual war unfolds behind the scenes of reality. And more importantly, they become beacons of light for others who are lost. Those who resist become spiritual leaders, even if they never asked for it. They are the ones who inspire, who awaken consciences, who show the way without even realizing it. However, This resistance does not come without consequences. The hidden forces that try to extinguish the chosen ones do not give up easily. Those who persist on this path face profound loneliness, as few can see the truth as it really is. There are moments of doubt, of fatigue, of questioning. But it is precisely in these moments that the true divine connection is strengthened. The chosen ones who resist do not walk alone. There is something greater guiding, protecting, and strengthening them. Even when it seems that everything is against them, even when they feel on the brink of collapse, there is an invisible force that keeps them standing. They learn to trust not in what their eyes see, but in what their spirit feels. This is the difference between those who give up and those who fulfill their mission. The unwavering faith that there is a greater purpose behind everything. And this faith is rewarded. The divine promise for the chosen ones who persevere is clear. They will not only survive but transcend. The world may try to crush them, may try to silence them, but it can never steal their essence. Those who persevere reach a level of understanding and spiritual connection that few achieve. They are guided by signs, protected by higher forces, nurtured by an energy that does not belong to this world. Life may not be easy for them, but it is meaningful. While most live in a cycle of illusion and forgetfulness, the chosen ones who resist are those who truly awaken to the grandeur of existence. And in the end, the victory is theirs. The destiny of the chosen ones is not eternal suffering. It is not meaningless loneliness. It is not defeat. The destiny of the chosen ones is ascension, the recognition of their true spiritual identity, the full realization of their mission. They were not sent to this world to get lost, but to illuminate the way. The battle may be difficult, but the reward is immeasurable. And those who resist until the end will see the truth manifest before their eyes. They will not only survive, they will win. Because the light, no matter how much they try to extinguish it, will always find a way to shine. If you've come this far, know that it was not by accident. Something within you recognizes the truth that has been spoken, something beyond logic, beyond words. You feel that there is a greater calling, an awakening happening within your spirit. Do not ignore this. The world around you may try to stifle this inner voice, may try to convince you that all of this is mere coincidence, but your soul knows the difference between truth and illusion. You are not alone on this journey. There are others like you, others who also feel that something is wrong with this system, who perceive the manipulation, who see beyond the veil. You are part of something much greater, of a purpose that cannot be contained or destroyed. It is time to accept your essence, to understand your mission, and to strengthen your spirit against those who try to extinguish it. The spiritual war is real, but victory always belongs to those who remain faithful to their truth. Now that you know the truth, the decision is in your hands. You can pretend that none of this matters and go back to living as if you didn't know what is really happening, or you can assume your role as a true chosen one. Will you allow them to silence you, to undermine your strength, to drain your light? Or will you resist, fully awaken, and fulfill your mission? The path is not easy, but those who persist never regret it. True spirituality is not a refuge for the weak, but a fortress for the strong. And if you are here, if your soul resonated with this message, it means you have within you the strength to continue. Chosen ones do not bow, do not surrender, do not fade. They illuminate. So choose to shine. Thank you for staying with me until now. If this content resonated with your heart, follow the channel, like, and share this video with others who may also identify with it. Now that you have discovered this dark truth about the chosen ones, there is something even more impactful you need to know. There is a fatal action that is spiritually destroying those who have a special mission, and most don't realize it until it's too late. Don't make this mistake. Click now on the video appearing on the screen and find out before it's too late. Your journey depends on it.